And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. Welcome to the Tim and Jim Show. I'm Jim Fuse of Fusion Marketing, and Tim, unfortunately, couldn't make it today. Kids had some stuff going on, with this whole crazy pandemic world. But the show must go on, as we say, and really excited to have our guest with us today, Andrew Lane. He's the affiliate manager at copy.ai, and he's in Austin, Texas, which I've heard is a fun place, great place, and it has South by Southwest. I think Dell Computer is headquartered there, and but, really excited to talk about this topic because I don't know about the people watching, but, I'm a little bit of a geek, so I'm excited to hear what you're doing with this stuff. So, Andrew, welcome to the show, and, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I mean, being the affiliate manager at Copy AI has been really fun this year. I initially found these AI copywriting tools. Earlier this year, I was running my own digital marketing agency, and I think a lot of people can relate. I was looking for faster ways to create content, to repurpose content, to get my message out there. But I'm not a natural writer myself, so I was really struggling with getting, for myself and my clients, getting stuff written that sounds good, that sounds professional, that gets the point across, and then saying the same thing kind of in different ways over and over again so I can build my brand and become known for something. Up until this year, it's been really hard to do that. So in my research, I found these new AI tools coming out, and it was just blowing my mind. I mean, literally, I couldn't sleep at night because I saw what was happening. The technology has, just completely changed in the last couple of years to where now everybody, all of us entrepreneurs, business owners, marketers, we have the ability to leverage this crazy powerful AI technology in a lot of different ways for our business. So I became obsessed with it, started working with the team at Copy AI, and here we are today. Now this whole year, I've been able to work with them behind the scenes, helping them with their marketing, but also learning about this technology and finding the best ways for the average business owner to use it.
Wow, that is amazing. And so, I guess, let's kinda ask the question, you know, how can AI help in business content creation? Because I think that's where people maybe they think they don't need it, maybe they think they can't afford it, but I think they might be surprised that it really can quickly turn things around for you, especially if you're struggling.
Yeah, well, the hardest thing is to get ideas out of your head, or if you're not inspired or you're not good at articulating ideas very well, to craft a message and put it out there, whether it's for video, it's for audio podcasts, it's for written blogs or web sales pages or social media content. There's a lot of content you need to create to grow your brand and compete in today's market. And for the average person, like that's just a lot to juggle. And then if you try to outsource and get someone to do that for you, that could be really expensive to get someone who's actually good at that, to get someone who understands your business, your target audience, and can write in a really compelling way. That could be expensive. It could be time consuming to manage people. If you get cheap copywriters, you're going to have to edit that stuff anyways. So now you're paying just to get like a version, like a rough draft of it. But now you're spending all this time managing them and editing that content. So the whole thing is really difficult, and very few people actually show up consistently online and are building their brand. And we see what happens when they do. They just become overnight successes where everyone knows about them and they're showing up all the time. And it's like, how do you compete with someone like that? The average person just gets left behind. And for me, I see a lot of people getting frustrated and wishing that they could have some kind of system or process in place to help them with their creativity, to compress that time frame, and to put out quality content in a much easier way. So the AI can help you in a few ways, and I could dive in and show you some demonstrations today. But there's three main things that I find it does for me. Number one is brainstorming ideas. So what's really cool about artificial intelligence is the technology we're talking about today is GPT-3. It's the latest AI model. It's the most powerful of any model ever created. And it really just came out and became commercially available in 2020. So it's very new. And what it does is it studied 10% of the internet. So what's happened the last like 20 years is we've been uploading all this content, right? So we've been writing, just think about how much content's on there with social media, with blogs, with online forums, Reddit. Like there's a lot of publicly available content that the AI has been able to analyze. So it's analyzed 10% of the internet, crunched it through these supercomputers, and they've literally spent billions of dollars. I mean, it costs them millions and millions of dollars to run the supercomputers to process all this data. And now it's created a model that's pre-trained. So it's studied everything about the internet from billions of parameters. And so basically when you tell it something about your business, it knows probably more about your business than you do. And it knows more about your customers than you do. And it's done all that market research ahead of time. So it can give you ideas of what their pain points might be, what their frustrations might be, or how to say something in a more effective way. It can help you change the tone of what you're saying to be more persuasive or be more empathetic. It's just mind-blowing stuff. And it happens in like seconds. It's all right there for us. You just type something in and boom, it's going to start giving you content.
Wow. And I tell you, you're kind of already blowing my mind. And I do want to go back to something you said earlier. If it makes you feel any better, I'm like you. I have a hard time like writing, so it's nice to have something that can help you. And I think that's why sometimes, right, video is just so much easier because we can just talk, and then maybe somebody can transcribe for us, so we don't have to write it down.
And I use tools for that stuff too. I mean, there's a lot of tools that help in so many ways now to automatically transcribe things and repurpose content. It's an amazing time. I think the challenge now is the technology is changing faster than ever, weirdly enough. Like you would think at this point, we've figured things out, but no, it's actually accelerating at a pace that's hard to even keep up with.
Right.
So
Yeah.
how do you actually put it to use and do something with it and profit with it? That's the big challenge right now.
So do you want to? I know you have some slides you wanted to share with us. You want to go ahead and jump into that?
Yeah, let's pull it up.
All right.
So I'll go through a couple slides here that'll give you the quick background story, and then a little bit of a teaser of where this technology is going. And then if we have time, I could pull up and do some real-time live demos for your business, or we can make up products and have it sell products for us. It's really fun to play around with.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Cool. So the quick background here, the big story is that OpenAI is making AI accessible to everyone. So OpenAI is a company, and their mission is to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. It started back in 2015 with a bunch of Silicon Valley billionaires put in $1 billion to open this research center. And in 2019, Microsoft came in with another $1 billion to pursue the holy grail of artificial intelligence.
Wow.
So it's no joke, right? This is wild stuff. If you're really into this, go listen to some podcasts about OpenAI and GPT-3. You can really go down the rabbit hole of what they're building and how crazy this stuff is. But the big takeaway for us is that in 2020, they reached a tipping point and it got 100 times more powerful. And it really wasn't commercially viable before 2020 because at the GPT-2 level, that it was at before. It had 1.5 billion parameters, which doesn't mean much to us, but just know that it's got all these like knobs that it's turning. It's trying to understand human language and all these concepts. Basically, at that time, if you told it something about your business and told it to write something for you, it was really off. It wasn't very usable. It wasn't great language. It was kind of like hiring someone overseas who doesn't really know your culture, your language, and like trying to write something. But so they couldn't really make that commercially viable, right? It wasn't much you could do with it. But when they came out with GPT-3, it was 100 times more powerful. And what you could see is the results were crazy. Like basically 20 to 30% of what you get back from it is going to be usable, well written, well crafted, almost to the point where you can't tell that it was written by a robot. It basically sounds like a professional copywriter wrote it for you without really knowing anything about your business.
Wow. Yeah, and I guess it kind of goes to Rose has the question of like, what specifically will this help me do this? And I guess it is the software, right? It's kind of what we're getting into is doing. And this reminds me, geek out a little bit, right? Moore's law talks about what everything doubles every like year and a half, and you're kind of seeing that with this stuff. I mean, that way that thing is ramping up is pretty crazy.
It's wild. But really what the other wild thing is, and here's where this is going. They opened it up to third-party developers. So they've opened it up with their API so that companies now can build on top of this platform, which allows any developer to access that crazy billion-dollar supercomputer and start building tools on top of it that leverage that horsepower of data, right, and information. And what that is similar to is like when the iPhone came out, right? You're like, okay, cool. It's a touch screen. It's like, great. I can make phone calls and text, and there's some cool interface here. But what does that mean? Well, it didn't do much when it first came out, but the power of it was when developers came in, they opened up the App Store, and now all these independent, privately owned developers could build whatever they wanted on top of it. And that's where the explosion happened. And now there's like crazy creativity. It's doing things for you like beyond what you could have ever imagined a phone could do. So that same thing is happening right now, where we have a new layer of technology available to us. This OpenAI, it's just a warehouse basically with all these supercomputers where they're training it on data and information, but they've opened it up to developers to start doing something with it. And where that's going is hard to predict in some ways because it's changing so fast. It's only been 1 year and crazy things are already starting to happen. So wow. You want to hear about some of those things?
Yeah. It's like, don't stop now.
So you could, I mean, again, if you really want to geek out, go look into some of these things, and it's changing every day. It's fun to follow the space. But the big takeaway is the CEO of OpenAI recently tweeted, actually a couple of days ago, I wanted to share this. He said, I've now gotten enough of a taste of AI-powered creative tools to know that they're going to be much better than even the AI optimists think. So cool to just think of ideas and iteratively have the computer implement and build on them. So what that means is you're going to have this computer assistant that's going to help you write stuff, come up with ideas, brainstorm, gather all this abstract information and make it easy for you to understand, but then also create for you. So it's going to start creating visual content, video content. Basically, you just tell it a few things, even web pages, software tools. You don't even have to know coding. You can just tell it what to do, and it will build software applications, mobile apps for you, just with your guidance, your voice or written guidance. Does that make sense?
It does. That seems crazy. And Sue Ann has had a comment, which I guess this is where people sometimes get a little freaked out. She goes, I recently heard an interview with Elon Musk that he scares him as AI, and he says we need to rein it in and regulate sooner than later. And I don't know if he's talking specifically about this stuff, but just the fact that I think sometimes we hear about when is it okay to use AI, and how do we know that it's a real person, right? And where do you kind of draw that line? I know there's what AI or avatars or whatever that people are doing on Instagram, and they look like real people. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's where the future is. We're trying to figure that out as we go. And on that point, why did Elon Musk build OpenAI and start it, I think it's because he was afraid of other companies having the power. So what OpenAI is trying to do is be the go-to place where AI happens and where the world interacts with this technology. So they're doing a lot behind the scenes to regulate it. So OpenAI itself, if you check out a podcast with Sam Altman about OpenAI, I forget what it's called, but they were talking about what they're actually doing is they envision a place where these supercomputers at OpenAI are powering this AI explosion for the masses. So all these companies are going to be paying to use it. And what they're building in is a model that they're going to cap their own profit, their own like income abilities, and they want to have some of that money overflow into society because the vision, they're like basically we're just scratching the surface. They have a vision of where this is going to go, and it's going to be just completely changing our world. And they're aware of the power that's in their hands kind of running that whole system. So they're doing a lot with protecting what kind of content it will create and what it'll put out there. And they're limiting types of content that it will create, just so it's not dangerous or like, destructive. It's very difficult. And that's kind of their challenge that they're taking on. But they're also looking at ways to like create enough income flowing through it that we're all benefiting from these tools. Every computer, every system will potentially be running from that one supercomputer. And how can that benefit all of us? That's what they're thinking about. And it's really, really crazy stuff, but beyond my pay grade. Right?
Well, yeah, because you start to think like some of this stuff it kind of goes back to me, the importance of continuous learning, because as this stuff comes out, right, there's certain, if you want to call it functions, jobs that are going to go away. So how do you keep yourself competitive? How do you, or maybe it gives you a new opportunity. Like you said, like, hey, now if I can use my brain to like conceptualize what I want to see and the computer can help
Yeah.
me do it quicker. Yeah, it's crazy.
So on that point, that's what really drew me to the team at Copy AI. And I'll just tell you real quick, kind of what they do. And this is just a quick GIF kind of showing you the process, but they're building tools to help people start and grow their business. So you just tell it about your business, a quick idea, and it starts to write copy for you to help you sell your products or come up with ideas of how to market it or identify pain points of your audience. So within a few minutes, you can go from an idea to having a name for your business to having really well crafted copy to sell it and promote it. And that gives each of us the power now to go test our ideas and put it out there really fast and feel more confident about it too. So they're looking at using this AI power to give each of us a better chance to turn our ideas into businesses and create new streams of income and hopefully, hire people and not be at the whim of AI taking over, but like, how can we all benefit from it and create our own businesses?
Right. Wow. Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, no. So this looks like so this is, I guess, a little bit of copy AI at work. What it does by just putting in a couple of queries.
Yeah. So here's the fun thing, right? So this blew my mind and it's actually getting way cooler now. But one example is just typing in something like Dunder Mifflin, right, from The Office.
Yeah.
We sell premium paper for small businesses. And this was just one of the first tests that they did, which was so fun to see, right? So they tried selling that business or creating like a description of it in different tones. So one tone would be bold, right? Paper so good it will make you stand out from your competition. Another tone might be luxury. Our premium paper has a timeless texture that's ideal for all the important notes and correspondence your business produces.
Wow.
Right. Another tone might be relaxed. Dunder Mifflin makes great paper for less. We love making sure that our office or your office has the tools you need to look professional. Professional tone. It's crazy what it will do because it's not just like templates of like what it would look like, but it knows about copywriting frameworks and then it applies it directly to your business. Whatever you type in, like in this case, we typed in Dunder Mifflin selling paper, you can make up a company and it will give you all these kind of like sales pitches and angles to help you describe it and put it out there to market.
Now, if you actually have, and I guess this goes back to, right, because they've already captured 10% of the internet, they still got 90% to go. If Dunder Mifflin or your company already has stuff out there, it goes and finds that, I guess, and it helps it stay on point.
Yeah, that'll help. And that's kind of where it's going next is more comprehensive understanding more about your business and like building a long-term narrative. At this point that it's at, it's kind of just piecing things together really quick. But one of the new tools that they came out with is with GPT-3 is a tool that will it can analyze an entire book and then write a quick 1 paragraph summary describing that book. And
Wow.
that sounds simple, but the amount that it has to understand and know and put together and then explain in a way that you can't tell if it was a book reviewer writing it or if it was the computer writing it in 10 seconds after just scanning the whole book and popping out the review. So that it's this more comprehensive understanding that it's starting to develop. And that's where tools like Copy AI, they're working on helping you get your brand loaded in here so that it can start to learn about your business, your tone of voice. And then when you want to go write a blog or go write a new video script or go put a social media post out there, you kind of just tell it hey, write this thing for me or tell my audience about an upcoming event. And it's going to be able to articulate that in a way that it's basically exactly how you would want to write it. Or it'll give you 10 ideas really quick that you can just choose from.
Wow. That's amazing. And so how long have you been using this for, Andrew?
So I've been using it since February. And initially when I started using it, I tried it with all my clients. And what was wild is I really didn't know much about some of their businesses. There's financial services to just random, random business
Right.
that I don't know. There's a lot of jargon and things and acronyms and stuff that I didn't understand. So I tested it out with them and gave them a page of copy that it wrote. And I said, hey, does this sound right? Does this sound like something you would write, or is it accurately representing your business? Would you feel confident posting this and sharing it? And they went through and just were like, yeah, wow, that's amazing. Wow, better than I could have said. And now when I use it for my clients, they're like, wow, I feel like you know more about my business than we do. And I just spent 10 minutes, writing up some copy to help promote it, or I help a lot of people build online courses. So it's how do I sell my course or sell my service or my coaching program, right? That's really tough for someone to do on their own. So with these AI tools, it just kind of bounces ideas back to you really fast. And just like you see here, it crafts out a really nice sales pitch.
Yeah, that's amazing. We're going to take a quick break, Andrew, and
Mhm.
get a word from our sponsor, StreamYard, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about this because this is fascinating. So stay tuned, everyone. There's a lot of new features with StreamYard. Even the screen share, they're doing some crazy stuff, and they've got virtual backgrounds now where you don't have to have a green screen.
I
But
gotta try that.
yeah, I've been I tried it out the other day. It's still not ready for it. I think I need more lighting, but
Hey, I use StreamYard every day. I've been doing live demos every day for Copy AI and my go-to live streaming tool.
awesome.
So we got a few minutes left. I want to log in and just show an example or two, but there's a
Yeah.
couple other things that you kind of hinted at that I've got in my slide deck here that's kind of fun to talk about.
Okay.
I'll go quickly through these. So this is what I was mentioning, where you can build applications and tools and software products just by telling it some basic inputs and then having it'll just do it for you. So it
Wow.
understands programming language as well, not just I guess talking language or written language. It's programming, so much it can do. Now that's not my strength, but if any of you are curious, dbuild is a tool that's going to be opening up to allow you to do that. This one's pretty wild where you kind of talked about these avatars
Mm-hmm.
that they're creating, a lot of customer support implementations using GPT-3 where it can communicate with you. So they're making these avatar characters that are built on top of GPT-3. So when you start to talk to it, the written layer is the underlying understanding, but that's essential to have some kind of verbal communication. So now you can have the avatar talking to you, saying those words that really sound very human, but it can actually understand your customers. It can learn about your products and then have customer support conversations in real time.
Holy cow.
But even another application that people are really excited about is some therapy, where they can train the AI to ask good questions and just help you kind of work through your own stuff, especially in really dire situations where people are really having a hard time mentally. like just opening up your web browser or your phone and talking to an AI, and it's going to feel so realistic. Like I thought that would be years down the road, but we're like right on the precipice of this becoming very mainstream.
Have you, in fact, that reminds me, have you been involved at all? Have you like used, like, I have an Oculus Quest and now you can do
Mhm.
like these virtual spatial.io, I think is another one where you can like just go and hang out in a virtual world. It's crazy.
Yep, I've got my Oculus, and that's the next thing is like they're gonna have, like you said, are they real or not? It is to some point it won't matter so much. There are times where you're really gonna want to know if it's a real person behind the avatar, and that's gonna be an important next step in our digital metaverse world that we're in is verification and like knowing who's who. So, are we talking to a robot? Are we talking to a person? Who is that? There's going to be a weird phase where you're going to automate yourself and you're going to upload your own, it's going to understand you more. And so your
Right.
avatar can work on behalf of you. Like you could have your face on here talking to all of your customers on your behalf. So infinitely scaling yourself. So
That's
it's going to get
yeah,
weird.
that's crazy. It is fascinating though, because I think the fact that the technology, well, we know it's developing. We won't say it's there yet, but if you could actually, like, even talking to an avatar, right, get it to answer questions because it has that ability now, where before, right, a lot of times these like bots, right? We'll talk about the chat bots. They can only answer so many questions before they have to send you off to a real person. This is going to take it to a completely different level.
Yeah, it's going to feel really wild. It's going to be fun because you're going to actually develop great relationships with these AI bots, but it's going to feel very real. And there's a lot of positive things that can happen from this. And of course, there's concerns that, they're going to have to figure out as we go. And hopefully
Mhm.
they handle it well. Then the next thing is like this automatic visual generation called another model that OpenAI is building is called DAL-E. And this
Mm,
hasn't been opened up yet. They were thinking this year maybe, but it's looking like next year or whenever they figure it out. But it's actually going to not just write words, but it'll understand the words that you're telling it. In this case, an armchair in the shape of an avocado. And this looks like you just Google searched an armchair in the shape of an
right?
avocado, right?
It does.
But the truth is none of these existed. It just made up these renderings
Oh, wow.
like in real time. Like in a few seconds, you're like, make this thing up. It'll create for you. And we're talking like illustrations. I'm imagining it for logo design. Instead of going to 99 Designs or Fiverr,
Yeah.
like you just tell the AI, make a logo with my words in this like shape and give me 20 variations, and boom, like in seconds, it just creates really
Wow.
good ideas for you.
That's amazing. That is
So
amazing.
you can make visual illustrated books using a tool like this.
Now, speaking of books, will copy AI, can I write a book using that? Is it at that point yet?
Yeah, and that's where it's definitely going. It'll do long form like blogging, and what it does is you tell it a topic, and we could do this right now. I know there's like we're just teasing everybody so much here.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta give them the demo, right?
All right. Overall, though, like where we're going is hopefully the good place where you have your little Janet, and it's creating stuff for you. If you've seen the show, you can just tell her to create something for you, bring you something. That's kind of what I imagine here with what's going on with AI. It's you can just tell it to do something and it starts to create for you, and it's a powerful assistant.
Awesome. Awesome stuff.
So let's here's a demo. Here's what it looks like. It's very simple. You can tell it about your business, and I mean you can come up with any product. I was doing some stuff the other day and they're playing around with new tones of voices. So I literally just typed in like protein powder
Uh-huh.
and just create copy, and it starts to write descriptions of some random protein powder. Knows nothing about it, but it'll try to sell it.
Right.
And um, it'll make up names. Like it comes up with like Nantucket Nectar's protein powder offers you an all natural high protein shake that tastes great. So it'll make up names. Like if you don't give it the information, it tries to make stuff up. But you could also just look at that and be like, all right, well, that's a good starting point. I'll put in my business name here. And, I've
Right.
got a great starting point. But the more you refine it, more it'll start to speak more accurately to your product and service.
Mm.
But if you give it a wide open, it's just going to come up with stuff here.
Mhm.
Mix up a delicious protein shake that is free of lactose and gluten with a digestive health fiber supplement of Solgar. So it's making this up from scratch. Every word that it's writing is from scratch. It's coming with pea protein. So we didn't give it much direction here.
Right.
And it's running wild. But you could, like, if you made up a product, come up with anything on the top of your mind. Like
Let's
maybe a
say,
web streaming.
microphones. Let's say
Okay.
microphones.
Microphone. What's a weird microphone? Microphone that
Um, well, maybe we'll say live streaming microphone. I don't know.
yeah, that live streams your voice into Facebook or something. I don't know. You can literally come up with anything and it will start to describe it and sell it.
Right.
The live mic is a microphone that live streams your voice. Let's see, introducing Facebook Live Mic, the ultimate microphone that live streams your voice into Facebook. It's small, it's powerful, and it's totally wireless. Record a video, make it so it's coming up with random features. Are you jealous of all the people posting video on Facebook with a new Facebook microphone? There's no need to hold a camera up to your face. So it's coming up with pain points, like concerns that they have.
Wow.
So now we could go into, like, they have pre-built like sales frameworks. So let's just say that was a good angle. We could write this stuff over here and start to craft out our whole brand narrative. We could come up with pain points in the pain agitate solution copywriting. And in just a few seconds now, we can look through all these different pain points. It's so fun. I've sat down at coffee shops with friends and we've just been crying, laughing with what it comes up with. So, like, how do you keep in touch with a special friend who lives far away? Facebook, but you can't use it for personal stuff. So it's coming up with potential pain points. If we told it more for, like, this is perfect for live streamers who want to sell their products, don't want to be on video. Now you give it a little bit more context and that dials it in. So it's understanding more about what you're trying to sell.
Right.
And then it gives you, let's see, going live on Facebook. No one wants to be on video. The Mercy, let's see, has strict about what you can promote on their platform. Do you want to be, lets you sell what you want without being on camera. Okay. It's kind of understanding. Okay, video isn't suitable for everyone, especially live streamers. When you're talking about, brings you closer to your audience. That's a good selling point. So the solution is like the big takeaway. It takes your voice and streams it directly into the app. No more cutting out because there's no more filming and uploading videos anymore. Just talk and sell. Some good sales points right there.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. I mean, just off of, we made something up. That was, and I didn't tell you before the show. So this, like, literally came up with it that quick. That was
oh yeah, you just go in any direction and it will try to sell it. And then, like you said, talking about blogging and writing long form, right now the best way to do that would be our blogging tools. They write longer form paragraph style. So you could say, like, the topic is, we can give it some basic information and it will start to write. But if you had like a general, like, book title, let's say, and then specific points you wanted it to write about, it'll start just going. It takes some practice to kind of get it to do what you want, but in general, it just starts to write words for you that could be used in a book, a blog, an ebook, a download, an online course you want to create, a free webinar. I've like worked on it to help me explain, like, affiliate marketing and explain AI copywriting, and it just starts to give you ideas. So let's see. It's
yeah,
kind of
that
just
was
selling it here.
yeah. Well, no, that was even Sue's comment. Brainstorming with AI. It's like, yeah, it does, because even with what we just did here, like, those are things you wouldn't necessarily think about, but you're like, wow, I can, even if you take parts of this, going back to you're putting your own voice in there, it's amazing stuff.
Yeah, and it'll come up with names. So the brainstorming tools are really fun for, like, just startup tools in general. Brand mission, revolutionize the way people use live streaming by allowing you to go live. Let's see, we love connecting people and creating an easy way for them to privately connect is meaningful to us. Let's see. To be the next gen voice broadcast tool of choice. That's a powerful mission statement. To empower individuals to tell their story through the use of live streaming. we want to combine all of our passions. So it helps you with your your brand
Mhm.
mission, your voice. The audience refiner is one of my favorite tools. You tell
Mm.
it a little bit about your business, and it helps you narrow in who your audience is. So we can go into like right here, it's pretty off, right? So it's
Right?
not plumbers in New York City. So we might not want to give it some more details, but we'll look through like actors looking for an affordable live streaming microphone that doesn't broadcast their face. Like, so we got to get more clear with it, but it's a great way to test and see if the AI can't understand it, then you probably need to get more clear with what you're saying.
Right. Right.
There's one last tool I could show you
Okay.
that is pretty powerful. And this is a new one that they just came out with. It's called Supercharge. And what it will do is actually scan your website or a competitor's website. And this is pretty wild. So let me just go ahead and pull up. I'm going to pull up. Where is it? Maybe I'll just pull up this product here. So you can go find a product online. This is just a random
Oh, okay.
digital or physical product that
Right.
someone's selling. And you can grab their website URL, or if it's yours, you could run it through this, and it's going to scan that website and pull out important information from it. So what's the name of it? How would you explain it to a 5-year-old?
Wow.
So it's understanding what it is. What are the unique selling points? It's a personal air purifier. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder. Pretty good stuff. The target audience, call to action, and then the brand voice. So let's just say like friendly,
Yeah.
friendly, fun. And you can go in then and use that to write some copy. So we could just have it write some copy for that without really typing anything. It's just going to scan your site or your sales page,
Uh-huh.
right? Anything you already have online, and help you write some descriptive stuff or come up with
Wow.
sales angles. Or what I find really powerful is if you want to create a product or a program, go find someone who's already done it and then start with that, have the AI scan that page and then help you. All you have to do then is say like, my cool windy thing and change up some of the details and just modify it slightly, like it glows in the dark. Now you can go ahead and write copy for your product with a really good starting point.
Right. That's amazing. I
Have
mean,
you
and
ever
that
felt like your air wasn't clean enough? Like my cool windy thing, it's a stylish device, automatically cleans the air around you, makes it small, lightweight, portable. So it's just going into those pain points and helping you sell it.
right. That's amazing. So, Andrew, if people wanna try out Copy AI, what's the best place for them to do that at?
Yeah, there's a free trial. You can just check out the website. I know you guys, you're affiliates with us, so I'll have you get your link and share it with them. There
Okay,
is a discount through your guys' affiliate link. So I'll make sure afterwards you have your link and you can get that
great.
posted in the description or whatever. But there's a coupon if you guys sign up through the link. There's a special deal, but otherwise it's free to try and you get 7 days. They're even potentially adding a whole free model where you get credits every month and you can just kind of
Oh,
use
yeah.
it off and on. So definitely you want to get your account, try it out, and there's gonna be a lot of ways for you to take advantage of this technology.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I wanna thank you, Andrew, for joining us today. This has been amazing. I mean, I know I enjoyed it, but like I told you, I'm a little bit of a geek, so I know we already went longer than you and I had thought, but I think we were both getting into the conversation.
I love it.
So yeah, definitely. So Andrew, where's the best place for people to connect with you?
Yeah, you can just find me. My site is designhacker.com. That's my own business. So just designhacker.com. I've got a free Facebook group you can check out. And we create training on just branding and business building in general. We help people build online courses. So reach out, connect with me anytime. But I'm doing a lot with copy AI and you'll see me around there. So come
Awesome,
hang out. We're doing demos. We got training and I'm very active in that community as well.
excellent. And next week, our guest is going to be Kara Ulker. She's Tim's co-host on his new show, where they're talking about cancer perspectives on cancer. A really powerful show for people that are either going through cancer or have survived cancer, people that have supported them, and really appreciate what they're doing that. Make sure you guys check out copy.ai. I know I'm going to check it out in a lot more detail after what I saw today from Andrew. Really fascinating. And thanks everyone for joining us. And we'll see you next week on the Tim and Jim Show. Take care, everyone.